Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Sean Kirkpatrick is just retiring from the US government UAP investigation committee. He is, of course, constrained by secrets of national security, which he can't share. Fair enough. But in this fascinating public forum, link in the description to the whole thing, Mr. Kirkpatrick spilled the beans, I think.
So our guest tonight, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick in the middle. He is currently the director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, another great government phrase. He has over 2 decades of scientific and technical intelligence experience at the university level, U.S. Naval Research Lab, the National Reconnaissance Office, CIA, DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and at the Office of the Secretary of Defense.
How does this compare to so many of those previous assignments that Larry just told us about? And how is it the same and different from other issues of national security you've worked on?
All of the evidence we have and all of the observations we have, including ones where people say, I don't understand it, it looks like it's violating the laws of physics, I can guarantee you that's not. There are advanced state-of-the-art technologies out there today that can maneuver and flight controls that don't have control surfaces, that don't leave a trail, and they are being commercialized.
He talked clearly about the percentage of UAP which might be extraterrestrial or highly strange.
So I think I've said this at the NASA panel briefing before. At that time, I think we were looking at around 800 cases, and I said maybe out of all of those, there's only about 2 to 4%, I think was around the number that we have enough data for, that are truly something we want to go dig in and go figure out what that is. And most everything else we can readily identify.
And you think that percentage holds true now since you made those remarks?
Yep. In fact, I just checked recently.
He specifically mentions balloons and spherical drones. So that's what we're going to look at today.
We did a commercial drone survey and did some research on what's going on out there. And do you know what the next biggest wave of drone technology is? Spherical drones. Do you know why? Because they're safe to use inside, so if they crash into people, you don't get hit in the head with a propeller.
It has that practical effect, yes.
It does, yes. So if you go home tonight, you go get on Google and search spherical drones, and you're going to find all kinds of spherical drones, everywhere from the R&D up through commercialization. They're trying to market them for stadiums and cameras on them, and spherical drones. That's a great thing.
So as he suggested, I dug into it for you. Just look at these Google search results. Look at these images. Look at what people are working on. Universities, camera platforms, and the military. But very specifically, a spherical drone could work inside an environment. It doesn't matter if it hits the ceiling or an object. Here's a company making survey equipment using a ball. This is the commercially available Helios 2, which you can use to inspect inside oil refineries, tanks, pipes. Doesn't it remind you of the drones they used in the Alien film? And here's another spherical drone whose purpose seems to be to pick up a bottle of water and deliver it to you. Somehow, I think the military applications of this drone are being undersold in this video. But stop, what has Sean Kirkpatrick actually brought to heading that office? He makes it very clear that he spent his entire life working in government, in secrets, in military technology, in intelligence community, where you don't share stuff. He makes this hilarious reference about and to his press officer about going public about UAP.
This has been part of our strategic planning, and I'm looking at my public affairs person because she's been instrumental in helping us do this. I wanted to do this, she wanted to do this from the very beginning. It takes time to build the public affairs plan. Who are you going to engage with? How are you going to engage? And get the community comfortable with that, because my intelligence community, you don't talk to the public. In fact, that was one of the first things I told Sue when she said, hey, you're going to have to go out and do a media engagement. I said, I just spent the last 25 years of my life being told that if I ever ended up on TV, something has gone horribly, horribly wrong, and that's bad. And now you want me to go out and willingly subject myself to that.
For me, that was very revealing, because it is exactly why they chose him. A safe pair of hands, a person who actually understands how security works and why it needs to work. The government, the military need to keep secrets. They will be the last source of disclosure. You need to get disclosure from science, from academics working outside of a classified framework. And here's a great example, a great reason why things need to be kept secret. From Sean Kirkpatrick. He says his office is often constrained by lack of sensor data, or by sensors not working properly. And he gives an example of focus, how an object might be half a mile away, but the sensor, say a FLIR camera, is focused on a few hundred meters away and makes the object appear the wrong shape.
Planes and birds in infrared sensors, if they're not exactly in focus, look like spheres and tic tacs because they're out of focus, and that's what they do. And then as you get closer and you refocus them, they come back in, and so you get some of that. Not everything, but you get some of that. But there's, and how do you learn what that is? You gotta dig into the bit layer. You gotta do things that some of my physicist colleagues are gonna love, right? You gotta actually get down in there and figure out what the auto gain sensor level is, and so you can figure out if it did it defocus or focus at the time. I mean, all of that takes time. It's not instant. I can't do that overnight.
Now that, of course, might explain a lot of things that we've already seen, but what it really explains is why you don't release that information. Because if Department of Defense sensors, say, take a finite time to focus and resolve a target, your enemy could use that. That's why you don't share that type of sensor information.
Were you hoping that you would find some evidence of something that was beyond where we were on this planet?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I told the Joint Staff, and I've told a bunch of folks on the Hill, and I've told some folks in leadership, right? The best thing that could have happened in this job is to find the aliens. Because the alternative is exactly what you just said.
Right.
Right. It is not a good thing.
Yeah.
I had really wanted to dig in and find truly unknown anomalous things we can dig into and go chase.
Yeah.
We've got a big national security problem, and we've got a big flight hazard, operational hazard problem, safety problem.
So what do you, as viewers, think this all means? Try applying Occam's razor that says the most obvious is probably the answer. Sure, the universe is teeming with life. It just has to be. But have they visited Earth? Or are 98%, and that's a fascinating figure from Sean Kirkpatrick, of things actually misidentified man-made objects? It'll be interesting to note the approach of his successor Whether yet again the government will go with a safe pair of hands who knows his place, or whether we'll get somebody who spills the beans. No, it's not going to happen. If you want to know about the highly strange, don't ask your government, because the truth is out there.